Grab your scissors because you need to cut these toxic people off. My breaking point came when my mom passed away. I'm so sorry. My friend never responded to my text saying my mom had passed. What? That is not a text you just ghost. 2 days later, this friend asked if I wanted to grab dinner and shop at the mall. I needed the distraction, so I agreed to meet up. My mistake. My friend had fought with her boyfriend and spent the entire meal talking about her breakup. She didn't express sympathy or ask how I was. No acknowledgement at all of my loss. And if that wasn't enough, she didn't attend my mom's funeral despite saying she would be there. I never responded to her texts again. It's been 12 years and I haven't regretted ghosting her. Well, she ghosted you. You literally let her know that you just lost your mom and she never acknowledged it. And not a text is one thing. You meet up with her in person, nothing then, that's another. But to not even go to the funeral, that's just the frickin' cherry on top. I mean, you would have lost all my respect after the first part of the story, but by the third point of her not being at the funeral, out of sight, out of mind. I don't even know who you are anymore. I met this guy, John, after he started dating my friend, and he quickly became part of our group. She moved on when they broke up after 4 months, but he didn't. It got to a point where he would obsess over her. He also had a temper that wasn't apparent before, but started to show itself frequently, which made me nervous. I encouraged him to seek therapy to move on, but he wouldn't. He changed from a fun-loving guy into an angry, bitter, and toxic person. The final straw was when we were hanging out with a mutual friend. She had a bruise on her leg from bumping into a table, and when I asked her what happened, she jokingly said, "John poked her." That's concerning. He became unhinged, so much so that he put a hole through a wall. That was it for me. I told him goodbye. I ran into him months later on the subway, and he started yelling at me to a point that my boyfriend had to intervene. I knew I was smart to cut him out of my life. Yeah, that anger's a red flag. Big time red flag. And what a shame, because they started out happy and it's like, oh, things didn't go your way in life, so you're just gonna become this angry, bitter person? That's miserable. You could have just still been the fun-loving guy and just worked through those issues, but hey. I feel like we've all known someone who had that, just like, it was like a switch. Like they would just, within seconds, they would be so violently angry. I knew a lot of guys like that in my early 20s, like in the friend group, like especially if they drank, where they just became angry and they just want to fight everyone. And it's like, why? Why is that the emotion that you go to? About 2 weeks before my wedding, she informed me she was bringing a date. She was not invited with one, and proceeded to lambaste the attendees at my wedding shower for not asking her about her life and interests, and said they were all rude biatches. She said my mother-in-law was obnoxious and that she wanted to punch my mother in the face for barely mentioning my brother, from whom I am estranged, and he was in prison at the time. Okay, also, it's not your business. I think she felt like she was defending me, but she was acting like a brat because she wasn't the center of attention. I clearly wasn't going to have a good time anyway, blocked her number and email, and haven't spoken to her since. Okay, but did she go to the wedding? Or did you block her number before the wedding and like she never went to the wedding? Probably for the best, honestly, probably for the best. What do you guys do if, because obviously I'm not married yet, if you have a wedding and you just invited someone, like you didn't give them a +1 and they show up with a +1? Because there's not going to be a plate or a seat for them. Like, do you have to go up and have that awkward conversation being like, your date has to leave, I did not give you a +1? What do you do? Or do you put out extra seats in case that happens? What do you do? There should be an Olympic sport for how much you play with your hair. I would get gold. Had a best friend for years since summer before 8th grade. We are almost 40. Haven't talked to her in over a year because of several things. Like, I co-signed on a car for her. She was a single parent. Never gave me a reason not to trust her. Ended up filing bankruptcy and stuck me with the debt. Refused to pay me back, saying she was broke, etc., yet could go out to the movies every other day and go out drinking. Oh, see, We were roommates and I moved out early. Paid all the rent. All she had to do was pay water and electric. She bailed without telling me. That's now on my credit, and the worst was, as soon as she found out I was buying my first house, she lost her damn mind, and I won't give you details because it makes me sick to my stomach, but let's just say she did the absolute unthinkable and literally tried to destroy my entire life. Okay, well now I need to know. It backfired on her, of course, but she is a miserable, disgusting person. I feel bad for everyone that believes any lie that comes out of her mouth. I'm not sure whatever happened to turn her into this person, because for most of our lives, she was the kindest, most gentle, most responsible person. But now here we are. I have my own home, a beautiful family, and a career. She has a son that cusses her out and treats her like trash, a baby daddy in and out of prison, a dead-end career that she still lives off of family or friends because she has so much debt she can't keep an apartment and get her own house. Sad. Yeah, well, sounds like she made some poor life decisions along the way. You had to take a lot of those onto your plate. If someone put me in debt and then just refused to pay me back, but they were going out all, like, you're gonna lose your mind at that point. Like, the universe is testing me, because it would be a news headline. I would lose my mind. That's gotta be like a lawsuit somehow. She lived 2 houses up the road. We met when I was 3 and she was 2, and she practically lived at my house growing up. She was my best friend till college, and then we were still super close, but we didn't live near each other, so we didn't see much of each other. When I went to another state to continue schooling, I got pregnant. It was a huge surprise because I was supposed to be infertile, but a happy one because I always wanted kids. But she thought I should have an abortion and wouldn't stop hounding me about it, no matter how often I told her that I wanted the baby. Then I got engaged to the baby's dad and set the date for the next year. Baby was 7 months when we got married. And I made her my maid of honor because of how long we'd been friends. But she didn't like my fiance and kept mouthing off about how it was too soon to get married, even though we'd been together 18 months by then. She did none of the normal maid of honor stuff. My mom wound up doing all of it. Finally, a few years later, she was engaged and wanted me to go above and beyond as maid of honor. Even though she hadn't been remotely supportive of me or my relationship or my family for years. Plus, never did maid of honor stuff for me. Not to mention, I had a young child as well, so a lot of the stuff that was harder or impossible for me to do. I didn't think it was fair that she wanted me to do all of that when she couldn't even be bothered to do any of it for me, and finally I suggested that she should get someone else to do that stuff. She ended the friendship and took petty revenge. She changed the password on her The Not page and deleted everything there, so she had, oh, you did? Oh, you took petty revenge. I ended I read that wrong. I ended the friendship and took petty revenge. I changed the password on her The Not page and deleted everything there, so she had to start her lists and stuff over from scratch. I've been married for over a decade to my husband, and we have 3 kids now. Super happy I didn't listen to her, and I'm glad she's out of my life now. That is petty revenge. And I've been on The Knot. A lot of my girlfriends, when I've been a bridesmaid, they use the website The Knot. It basically has all your wedding info, everything planned on there. So to start over on that, that's some petty revenge. All aboard! It's hydration station time. I got cucumber water in here today. Not lemon, not lime, just the cukes. Cheers. Hope you're having a good day. For about 5 years, age 12 to 17, I was friends with the girl who would always threaten to get angry with me and tell me to end my life. Okay, yep, Friend does not even belong in that sentence. I'm happy it was in quotations. I was quite passive and had a horrible anxiety disorder. She'd always make negative comments about my body, which led me to develop a severe eating disorder, which almost killed me, and body dysmorphia. The only reason I managed to get away from her was because she tried to pin a big exam cheating scandal that she organized on me when I had nothing to do with it. I eventually managed to slowly distance myself from her and hang out with friends that didn't have a hierarchy and treated me with actual kindness. Due to the trauma of that toxic friend, my mental health issues made it difficult to live a normal life. I am glad I'm still alive despite everything she put me through. I cannot believe that all that happened between the ages of 12 to 17. I actually can, in the sense of that is a very high age for bullying People are not nice. I feel like everyone experienced some kind of bullying as a kid. And if you didn't, good for you. But I feel like that age is rough. It's brutal out there. It's so brutal. And you're coming into your body and you're changing. You're trying to, oh my God, it's such a tough age. Ugh, you really got to find your people during that time and stick with the good ones. I had a friend who would constantly borrow / steal things, and I had to hound him or even steal them back. When he stole my mom's identity and got a phone for his girlfriend and attached it to my mom's account, it was the last straw. Okay, well, I'd say I cut all my contact with him. He somehow got my new number years later and kept calling and texting me. Finally, I told him if I ever saw him again, I'd do something which I won't say here, but would probably end with me in jail for a very long time. Okay, well, I think we can guess what that is.
Tax fraud.
I haven't heard from him since. I did see him once, I think, as I was turning around, and then ran in the opposite direction. Yeah, that's not just some casual, like, oh, stole my shirt, stole my MP3 player. No, stole my mother's identity, bought a cell phone, and attached it to her account. So she'd be paying for it. That's wild. Well, that's criminal. Surely. We're pressing charges. She was nice to my face, so I called her my best friend. However, she would often leave me out and spread rumors about me. I was blissfully unaware until I accidentally ran across a Facebook post where she made fun of my weight to her coworkers. Not in a mild way either. She called me a globe and said she wanted to stick continents all over me. Okay, that's the dumbest joke or insult ever. And it's not clever. It's not even funny, honestly. That's not your friend. And that's really sad that you called her your best friend. People who are fake to your face, if they're not protecting your name in a room that you're not in, not your friend. I'm a teen and in secondary school, so me and my friend, when friend is in quotations, it's never a good thing, and I were walking to lunch. I go in my bag as normal and my lunchbox is missing. I have anxiety and autism, so naturally I am scared as I am in floods of tears at this point, and as the campus is large, I don't know where to begin. She says I can have something from her lunch, so I decide to chill and calm down. She says she needs to use the toilet, so I just wait. Our lunch is 30 minutes. 25 minutes pass. I get really upset. The bell goes. I'm so upset and hungry. I don't know what to do. My mind's gone blank and I don't know what lesson I have next. So I'm freaking out like crazy. The teacher comes over and asks if I'm okay. And I'm like, no. So we wander around campus and we find my lunchbox in a toilet. Yes, covered in, pardon my language, crap and piss. So yeah, that goes in the bin and I get a school lunch. My friend who I wander past on the way back doesn't know I'm there and said, yeah, that was a good one. Let's put her lunchbox in the bin next. Long story short, she's an idiot and was expelled after she did that with multiple of my belongings. So she's not a friend at all. She's a bully. That's what she is. And I am so happy I got the update that she was expelled after that, because that just pisses me off. Karma. Maybe she'll learn not to be a bully. He bailed on being a groomsman the week of my wedding. I asked him over a year in advance and he agreed and was excited about it and said he would get the time off work. 2 weeks prior, I started checking in and making sure he had the right stuff for his outfit, and I got radio silence. Minor panic. He finally responded 6 days before the wedding and said that he wasn't able to get off work the day of my wedding. He tried everything, but his boss couldn't let him take a day off, but he'd be happy to join us for the rehearsal dinner and the combo batch party. I'm assuming he forgot to ask for the time off, but that's besides the point. The audacity of asking to be part of 2 major wedding events without coming to the wedding, combined with the stress of having to rush to find a replacement to fill out my side at the altar, broke something inside me, and I haven't been able to forgive him even after almost 3 years. He was one of my best friends for the better part of a decade, but after this I started reevaluating behaviors I'd shrugged off in the past, how badly he treated his partner and women in general, the constant one-upping, the way he talked about my wife, and realized that was a long list. and realized it was time for me to grow up and move past him. We've traded a few texts since, but I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive him. This one's interesting because I feel you. I totally feel you. Plenty of time to book the day off work and be there. And if I had requested, that's one of my best friends, and I requested time off one day and they wouldn't give me the one day, I'd probably quit. Or I'd just say, okay, and then I'm calling in sick because I'm not missing that freaking wedding. Like, I'm gonna be there. He could have easily forgotten and then it was too late, but also, like, were you even gonna tell them 6 days before and I had to like hound you for, I don't know. It's kind of shady. I think he was trying to offer to go to the other two things just to like make up for the big one he was missing. But it seems like the friendship had a lot of issues. So, like, even outside of the wedding. Y'all already know, you gotta trim that fat. I had many red flags with this girl, but we were still very close friends for a couple of years. Okay, so you saw the red flags and you ignored them. We've all been there. I'm no better. We've all been there. It ended like this. It was a year we graduated from school and had our exams from entering the university. She failed her exams despite hard preparation, and as a result, she was losing a year for university. She was miserable and declined to go for a holiday to the sea with our friends that we planned for half a year. We were okay with that as she needed time to recover, but her parents wanted to cheer her up and asked me to convince her to go. As a result, I got 2 weeks of blaming and shaming me for the thing that I got into uni and she didn't. And that is the reason why I am an awful friend. She can't understand that. The most stupid end of a friendship ever. It is stupid. It's a shame because it's like, oh, we could still very much be friends and just support each other. You know what I mean? And you could still support my win, and I can still empathize with you and support you through your loss during that year. But no, let's just end the friendship. If people aren't rooting you on in your corner, y'all, they don't deserve to be there. All right, guys, stay classy out there. Stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.